Football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half-time, and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Jungle Gyms. It is Tuesday, the 5th of April. You know what that means. It's Tuesday Tic Talk time. We've got Paddy and we've got Dazza. How you doing?
Not bad, man. Not bad.
Mate, I'm still dying.
Oh, your voice is.
I'm still hanging, mate. Terrible.
I'm still in cloud 9.
So you should be, mate. It's been a weekend where the pendulum has fully swung in Celtic's favour. It's looking good. Some people are in the camp of the league is over. Some people, like myself, are in the camp of it's not over until the fat league is signed. However, we've had some encouraging news today that Morelos is now injured for the rest of the season. Dazza, for you, does that kind of feel it? No, Paddy, does that news seal it in Celtic's favour that Morelos being out now hands Celtic more or less the title?
It's definitely put the wind up my sails a wee bit. Not that I like to hear about anybody being injured, of course, but no, it's clearly a guy that they missed at the weekend, and we spoke about that beforehand, mate. And the proof was in the pudding. I think it was fucking Kamal Roof or something. He can't lead the line, so aye, fuck him.
I think I'm on. It doesn't matter what they do in their camp. I don't care. It's all about what we do now. So our next game is the biggest game of the season, and then so on and so forth. So, it's good just to see the zombie rage. But listen, it's all about Celtic for me.
As mate, I was actually thinking about it. Morelos, I know that you said you don't give a fuck, and you're quite rightly entitled to say that. But Morelos has been with Rangers for 5 years. He's won one trophy, one league title. And I was thinking about what other one-hit wonders can I recall? It kind of reminds me of
Chesney Hawks.
I was going to go for Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison.
Oh, great song.
Finally to the viewers, thanks very much for tuning in. Give us a like, give us a comment. That's what tonight's all about, especially the Tuesday ones. We need your comments to keep us going. And subscribe as well. Otherwise, I'll say Paddy the Baddy on you. Dazza, how was your Sunday? Where did you go to watch the game? And what were your match by the end of it?
I'm a creature of superstition and habit. So for the last few Glasgow derbies at Ibrox, I went to the Kerrydale and we've not won. So I changed it up this week and I went through to View Park, Bellsill, whatever way you want to say it, to Caesars. And I'm telling you, I got there, because it was my wee lassie's football game on the Saturday as well, Sunday, I got there with 3 minutes to spare before kick-off. So obviously I just had a pint in my horn and then it started. The place was bouncing. I was watching it on one telly, right? And Rangers went 1-0 up. So I sat down and changed my telly. And then that's what I'm like. So when we went 2-1 up, I turned around to look at the other telly. My pals are, "What are you doing? You keep facing that telly." And it was what a day, man. And then as soon as that final whistle went, brilliant, absolutely, what a day.
Gav, I'm just going to catch a comment here for a guy who's been quite regular with comments. Barman, how you doing, pal? Jungle Jazz podcast. Hello, guys. How are you? I'm sorry for the last stream. I didn't mean to sound stupid. English is my native language, mate. please don't feel stupid. We weren't laughing at you or anything. It was just a word that's really, really funny in our kind of language. Probably a bit childish, right enough, but no, absolutely nothing to apologise for, mate. Great to have you on again. You're a top man. And by the way, if you can just...
We struggle with English.
I'm fucking struggling with everything, you know, because I'm still fucking got a hangover for Sunday. So back to Palman. Palman, let us know, mate, what the kind of reaction is back in the Netherlands about Jackie Makis, who is obviously a guy that's well known to yourself.
And another thing, what's the reaction in the media for the Netherlands about Giovanni van Bronckhorst? Did they take him seriously? I think you've alluded to it in the last episode that they don't really take him seriously as a coach, as a manager. Is that really true? It'll be interesting to see how comfortable we are if Giovanni van Bronckhorst is going to manage the rebuild for Rangers next year, because it will be a rebuild. Are we quite comfortable with that? Because
mate, Van Bronckhorst can't even manage to get a fucking horn up to the Bolton shelf. Never mind their full rebuild.
My comfort level. What's the other corners, Paddy?
Craigie, mate. What a name. Ange in control, big time here. Wasn't worried at all. And what a great feeling, just waiting on that time for Calmac to lift these next two trophies. Absolutely. Frank Brennan, is that Keith's twin brother? No, Frank, it's no, but now that you actually mentioned it, he does really look like him. Keith Cochran. Excuse me.
Yeah, talking about Calmac, that's one of the things that I'm really, really happy with, that Calmac is able to come away with that victory. Not every Celtic captain can get a victory at Ibrox so early in their tenure as captain, and Calmac has done it at his second attempt, but in his first season as Celtic captain, and it puts any doubters. I don't think that there's any more doubters of Calmac having the materials, having the mentality to be a captain. But he's got a notch on his belt right now. He's won away at Ibrox, and now we look as if we're going to canter towards the league title. It's looking good.
See that thing with Calmac, just sort of before you brush past it. If you notice in the first 7 minutes, again, you have probably covered this on your post match, but in the first 7 minutes, we were second to everything. They came right on top of us, and it took that wee moment for Calmac just picking the ball up midway in their half, or running straight in to the box, and then that's what created.
It isn't 100%. I was going to ask later on, what was your most memorable moment of Sunday's victory? And for me, that was what I was going to say. McGregor's drive, forcing that first goal. If he never did that, I don't know how long it would have been before we'd actually scored the equaliser. But McGregor took the goal by the horn. He scored that goal. He picked it up. He went past Ramsey, who was meant to be marking him. He took it past Lundstrom. And then he went on the right side of Bassey. And at that point, he was in the box. You can't bring him down, otherwise it's a penalty. But it was his sheer determination. And that's captain material, mate. So 100%, can't agree more.
So I've just stepped in a point for later on.
No, I'm just elaborating.
There's Palman answering back again, Gav. In the Netherlands, they were talking about Jackie Makis finding his Eredivisie shoes again. I'm assuming they're clogs because of his goal scoring lately. That's good. That's good to know that we're still talking about him now, because certainly majority of Glasgow and worldwide is talking about him.
Paddy, what was your most memorable moment of Sunday's game?
Probably about 10 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's about the last thing I can remember. The morning, sorry, God. No, listen, the game started off fucking mental. They obviously jumped to it early on, came into our face, and they overran the midfield, Gav, and they had a good go at us in the first few minutes, and unfortunately for us, they managed to get a goal. But in saying that, something that we kind of spoke about, mate, was our resilience this season, which has showed through in certain games, mate. You know, games where it's kind of went to 90 plus minutes and we're still chasing a victory, and we've managed to get it. And straight away, that was one of the things that we did, mate. We regrouped, and we went and we had a go back at them. So for me, when they scored the first goal, you know, that was them. They were thinking it was going to be 5, 6, 7-0. And then for us to come and get such an early reply, mate, just totally fucking knocked in for 6. And then obviously we managed to go in and get the winner, which was fucking outstanding.
After that equaliser, I could almost hear Simon Garfunkel singing the sound of silence. It was beautiful, man.
Did you see any use for equaliser? Did any use have to take a double take because it was that quiet? Right, I didn't know. I had to look at him. Did he hit that? Was that a goal? Did he hit that hour? I stopped celebrating because everybody was going mental. So I stopped celebrating, and then I was like, "Did he actually score there?" And I'm looking at the telly, and I'm just seeing the wee score change into 1 each. And I'm like, I went on to again.
Mate, it
was surreal and weird.
Mate, I was just sitting there waiting for the flag to go up for the referee to get a penalty to Rangers. I don't know one of the two of them.
We know that next year will be one of the ones where we do need to wait because of VAR. I think and I thought I don't need to digress. I think in a fortnight they're going to vote on it. VAR is going to come in, and I think it will come in. But that'll be next year's kind of predicament. You don't celebrate too early. But this time, I know what you mean, mate. Best thing on Sunday was seeing Fat Boy. I know. Yeah, by the way, whenever you turned on in Sky Sports and you had Alan McCoy and Andy Walker, I was a bit gutted. Like, is there any, Dazza, is there any commentators that you don't actually mind? But Davy Provan, he kind of, a lot of people don't like him. Is there any Celtic commentators that people actually favour nowadays on Sky?
On Sky? No.
Aye.
No.
Aye, McCoy.
No, we ain't about it. Andy Walker, all right. I'd heard a wee rumour that Andy Walker was refused access to the stadium, so he had to do his commentary for the outside broadcast trucks. So what do you call it? That's how I reckon he was a wee bit more. No Andy Walker. Do you know what I mean? Like saying that at the end, like when's Rangers going to get a penalty alley and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it was. But no, Andy Walker. Can I swear?
Yes,
cool.
I know McGinty always moans about me swearing, so I just wondered if he's relaxed the rules. No, Andy Walker as a wank. I've got no time for it.
I thought you were going to out something about me. You know, outrageous in that.
Something more incohesive. No, he's a wank. Chris Commons annoyed me when he was a commentator as well. David Provan is, do you know what I mean? Another bell end.
I'm sure I seen an article yesterday, and David Provan's actually retiring and moving to Spain. So
yeah, good for Spain.
Good luck, Paul. At least we don't need him. Yes, Anthony McGinty. I've never moaned about you swearing, you bastards.
That's why Anthony's not in here. He's the one who's having a wank right now. Paddy, Dazza alluded to it there, where Rangers might not have been able to guarantee the safety of Andy Walker. Now, that's a kind of common theme that we've grown accustomed to. They can't guarantee the safety of Chris Sutton. They can't guarantee the safety of Neil Lennon, i.e. the BT Sport coverage of the Europa League and the Conference League, where they weren't granted access to Rangers Stadium to kind of do production for both the Celtic and Rangers when they were featuring on a Thursday night. But now it seems that Rangers can't even guarantee the safety of Celtic, whether it be the players or whether it be the Celtic staff. So if you've been living under a fucking rock, which I'm sure you haven't unless you're a Rangers fan, but actually smoking some rock, as you will know, there was bottles flying galore. At first we thought it was a jobby on the park. I thought it was a jobby. It turns out to be a broken glass bottle which was thrown by Rangers fans into Joe Hart's penalty area. There was also a bottle which scudded off, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the Celtic physios, and he had to
Daniel Friel.
And he had to get emergency medical treatment for that. And even whenever the Celtic players were celebrating in front of the fans, I will say at a good considerable distance, even at that point, the players had to fucking duck and shimmy because like bottles were getting thrown in their celebrations. That was obviously it's appalling. That goes without saying. But the Rangers as a club can't even guarantee the safety of our players and our staff. So I wanted to ask, what should expectation that the SFA will take to punish them? What do you think they will do, and what do you actually think is a fitting punishment?
I don't want keep them in the stadium because we all know they can't handle a stadium. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that every time Celtic scored and celebrated since the reincarnation of this Rangers, this mob, they've donated more to Celtic celebrating than they have to their own club to save their club? Do you know what I mean? Where the coins are thrown in the park. They could have bought Rangers 10 times there.
I had change left.
No, the SFA will be seen to be doing a token fine. It'll be a token fine that won't get paid. It's just like the full cinch thing. They've done nothing with that. So I expect them. But what I think should happen is they should get a stand closure, or maybe the two, a stand closure at least, or right. Listen, it's abhorrent. No, I don't agree with that. They deduct points.
What I will say, because I'm diplomatic to an annoying fault, is that you don't need to pass an IQ test to be a football fan. So every club have got their own sad minority of like really, really stupid people. We do have a couple of bottle throwers, but that's acknowledged. We won't deny that. But I think what Rangers do, what we've seen on Sunday, goes beyond the pale. Actually striking an opponent. That's it's worse than what we're used to. So I think the reputation of Rangers, it's already known in the UK, and now it's known worldwide because that was a game that was being to everybody in the world. But what will the SFA do? Probably a token punishment. And I was thinking one other thing, Paddy, you might disagree with me. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just floating this out. Should we retract the ticket allocation for the return fixture at Park Kevin on this?
Mate, I would do that anyway, just because. But I don't know, mate. To answer your question, I'm not actually really caring, to be perfectly honest with you, about what the SFA do to them. I'm no. They're nothing. They're inconsequential. Do you know what I mean? Like as you say, there's fucking clowns, fully football everywhere. There was one a few matches ago where somebody tried to hit Barry Mackay with a plastic bottle for one of the Celtic stands as well. But like flying glass bottles on, mate, and try to physically assault players just because they can't take getting beat or somebody scoring a goal or somebody noising them up a wee bit. It's pure Neanderthal stuff, and like the physio was up with a bottle. That could have been anybody, mate. That could have been Ange. That could have been somebody at the side. That could have been a Wayne. You know what I mean? Somebody can't defend herself. And then, obviously, at half time, when the goalkeepers are just about to switch halves, somebody's flinging bottles or throwing glass shards, as it was called. It's the arse end of a bottle. You know what I mean? What they don't realise is that could have affected their own players, mate, because if one of their guys is running into the box and slides, his legs ripped open, so it's just absolutely no sense. Nobody's thinking, they're just acting like fucking absolute troglodytes. But as you say, mate, it's not just them, it's a lot of people I know, but they've got a lot of previous for it. They were even doing it against Leverkusen. Somebody scored in the pitch. Somebody scored a goal for Leverkusen. I can't remember who it was. And yet again, they were flinging half balls a bucket. Lee Griffiths, they were flinging batteries at him. Just everything. Coins. Fucking somebody said earlier on they were flinging their season books as well. Probably.
I must commend your attempt, Paddy, there to try and be impartial and try and look at it from an everybody point of view. But have you ever seen it with that scale? That's not a minority. that's not a small minority of idiots. That's a majority, not a majority. That's a hefty amount of people that's launched a missile of some description, whether it be a coin, a bottle, a glass, or anything. And on that scale that they've done it is beyond the pale. So well done for trying to be impartial, but no for me.
No, I mean, I wasn't even trying to be impartial. I just think anybody that funds a bottle or funds an object is just a fucking absolute prick, regardless of what stand they're sitting in. But something's obviously got to be done. You know, that's whether that's fucking searching people going through or actually going and trying to make a stand against these people by searching them at CCTV and getting them fucking in the jail or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, listen, you're flinging a bottle to try and injure somebody, and it's not just in the stadium, Gav. I mean, I just want to give a wee shout out to. Listen, we all know what Glasgow's like on a Glasgow derby game, and there's been a lot of reports over the weekend, guys for the Celtic supporters that were attacked and get seriously injured. So just a big shout out to them and hope everybody is that's been hurted isn't too bad and is getting better on that. But it just seems to be that whenever a certain team gets beat, there's bedlam. Even when they win, there's bedlam. Look at poor George's Square. Poor George's Square has been attacked, you know. So I just fucking grow a brain, fucking behave yourself. And I'm sure that there's a decent set of supporters on that side as well that were totally embarrassed and ashamed by that. You know, I would be if that was my crowd. And I'm sure there is a good element there.
To coin the phrase, bad winners, bad losers, worse winners. But I don't even know which way that goes for them now, because they're just terrible at everything they do.
I know. Paddy, what you were saying about the assaults that took place in Glasgow. One boy, I think, got bleeding on the brain and was taken to ICU, and that was outside the Vogue on Rutherglen Main Street. And that's where me and McGinty grew up, near in Rutherglen. That was like one of the pubs that we would go to for a Celtic game, and it's quite scary whenever it kind of hits home like that. But as you said, like, Rangers are bad. The fans are bad whenever they win, and they're lost when they lose. And actually on that Main Street, Rutherglen, earlier on that day, they marched through about 15 different foot bands. Marched through. They get approval for the council. And marched through, and they hung up their Union Jacks and every fucking lamppost as well. It beggars belief how you get council approval for that sort of thing. I don't know.
Because the council's marching with them.
That's a sad thing, man. Sad thing.
By the way, talking about what about this whole fucking Old Firm? Absolute embarrassment they hurt it with. What was all that about? What was all that about? Honestly, see if you've ever laughed at them before, you can laugh at them, right? Because like the whole thing. I don't know, mate. Just on you go. Tell me what you think.
They misread the room on that one, didn't they? They thought they were trying to be wide and now snide, and they absolutely misread the room. I had a wee sneak preview on one of their forums the day, and they were cringing about it. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow. But it was cringe-worthy bad. They were handing out scarves and flags saying Old Firm. That's basically having a half and half Celtic and Rangers scarf.
By the way, do you know the funniest thing about it? There was a picture took the next day, and see the wee kind of walkway bit they had, and it was like, this is the Old Firm. It was in the bin. It was in the bin the next day.
At the back of the Cotland Road stand.
Aye.
Whatever point they're trying to make is fucking terrible. They're trying to cling on to our coattails. So on one hand, they don't want to be part of us, but on the other hand, they do want to be part of us. And that was one of the kind of the reasons that was rumoured to be for their cancellation, their exit of the Australian tournament. the Celtic and Rangers and a couple of the domestic teams that they didn't want to be, that they wanted to be branded as Old Firm, but we didn't want to brand that. And I think we've got the copyright for that. That's a kind of a legal matter that I don't quite understand. I believe that we own the copyright to the Old Firm, they don't. So I'm wondering if by Rangers doing that, could we actually sue them? I don't think Celtic would ever drop to that level. They stood to that level. Comment from Michael McDonald. What was that? All that old stuff from them just shows how much we're getting to them. They know they're in trouble now. I
don't get the connotations of trying to, you know, kind of curry up to us. Like, as you say, Gav, they absolutely hate us. You know, as soon as we play them at Ibrox, it's like, oh, we're kids singing Billy Boys and kill all the Fenians, and like the next minute there's banners that's saying, oh, please be our pals. You know what I mean?
But see
the
thing is, I don't mind. See what they sing. Let them sing what they want to sing. I don't want them to like us. I want them to hate us. So if they want to see the mere bitter, if that's a word that they get, the mere it makes me go yes, because we're under their skin. Do you know what I mean? So it's, I mean, I don't love them. So I basically have any sort of love for us. So fuck them.
Well, anyway, do you know what? I'm just looking at the time, boys. That's 25 minutes in. We've spoke too much about them. Let's talk about Celtic. How good was Celtic?
One question I had about the game itself, the actual football game, was there anything that particularly stood out for you? One thing that I want to say is Ange, Trustin and Rogic. He probably weighed it up and said Rogic is coming back from an injury or whatever from Australia. Sorry, it wasn't Australia. It was the last Celtic game. He knew that he probably wouldn't get 90 minutes out of Rogic. Oh my God.
That's, by the way, that's Aaron Ramsey's fault. You've killed Doc Cotton, you bastard.
That comment was Doc Cotton.
So one kind of thing that I took away from Ange's approach to the game was that he had confidence that even though Rogic wouldn't play the full 90 minutes because he wasn't fit enough, he knew that he would have a big enough impact, and he trusted to play Rogic and then bring on O'Reilly later on. Paddy or Dazza, any kind of thoughts about you from the actual game itself? Anything you took away?
What I've took away for Tom Rogic is Tom Rogic must have Huns waiting up in the middle of the night in cold sweats.
I think you're right, actually. It's hard to disbelieve that. Paddy, did you enjoy that tackle for Alson?
Oh, mate. No, that crowd has went on for the start of the season, shouting 56 this, that, and 56 is coming. You're right, 56 is coming. Anthony Ralston coming for Ryan Kent. Bang! Get him, son. Beautiful. There was nothing. There was no malice in it, mate. Just total commitment, robust challenge. It reminded me somewhat of the Barry Robson tackle a wee bit. But no, I love the attitude for Anthony Ralston. But get back to Tom Rogic, mate. This guy has turned up so many times for Celtic, and he's turned up so many times against them. You know, one of his most beautiful goals was like a 30-yarder where he actually managed to break one of their ankles at the same time. You know, and then that goal when that came, Gav, as I say, it was a massive, absolute sucker punch to them because they were in full flow. The kind of momentum was with them, but like I said earlier on, it just goes to show everything about Celtic's resilience, how the team is, their mentality this season. See if it had to be last season under Neil Lennon, you know, we would have crumbled. They probably would have won about 5 or 6-0. But it just shows you everything that Big Ange has instilled in this team. You know, we don't stop until they stop. And guess what? We never stopped. And I tell you who else never stopped. Dyson Maida. See that wee guy? He's still running about in mad dreams now. Do you know what? I want to know. Mate, see at half time, the guys have probably come in, sat down. They've probably stuck a charger into fucking Maeda. You know what I mean? Just to keep him going. Oh, brilliant! What a beautiful wee man. I love his wee ball.
I wouldn't want it to be my job to chase him down to turn them off after a game. I seen some stat today. I can't remember. I wish I screenshotted it now. But he's run faster than any other player in years or something like that. He's run more kilometres than any other player in years. And his pace was like off the scale, like something like I think he was running at like 5 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour or something like that for a full game. So
we've seen the benefits of Maeda. He had a few doubters whenever he started, but he's doing a job for Celtic. Whether his best position is like a centre forward or a left forward, he done one hell of a shift on Sunday. And the Rangers fans did not enjoy it. The Rangers squad did not enjoy it. They never got a moment's rest with him. Because he was on the left at one point and then he was on the right, So it was against Bassey, it was against Tavernier as well, and he kind of nullified them. It was fantastic. For John Coyle, totally agree, Paddy. Last season we would have got mullered after that start.
By the way, just two guys I need to give a shout out as well to Gav for Celtic, and it's two guys who obviously at the start of the season I wasn't very enamoured with, still to some extent, but Greg Taylor and Carol Starfelt I thought were excellent. Greg Taylor that was one of his best games in a Celtic shirt, and he turned up at the right time. Excellent commitment, desire. Big Ange just spoke about him, saying that he's one of the best, the biggest leaders in the dressing room, which is something that's kind of surprising when you hear that. But like the biggest games, he is turning up, and for me, Carol Starfelt has turned into a colossus at the back. I know at the start of the game, when they kind of came into our face and had a go, it looked as if he was flatting a wee bit, but then so did Juranovic and a few other guys at the back. But I say he absolutely grew into the game. The partnership and cohesion that he's got with Cameron Carter-Vickers and is just something that we've been crying out for so long, is to have a solid defensive unit. So massive respect to the two guys, as I say, and in the face of people having a go at them, maybe some people would call it scapegoating. I think kind of sometimes most of the times the criticism I give is deserved, but at the same time I'll always give credit where I think it's due, and by God, they two guys deserve it after the weekend.
See, for me, Greg Taylor all season is a 7 or 8 out of 10 player. Yesterday was his first 10. Do you know what I mean? And he would have got man of the match if he stayed on the park for the full game. So for me, Greg Taylor he's a consistent 7 or 8. He will never be man of the match, apart from yesterday, but that was his best performance in a Celtic jersey. But he never lets you down, and I think he's just an easy whipping boy for when things go wrong. Starfelt was shaky to start with at the start of the season, and then but I seen him growing into a game maybe for about. I seen him growing into the team, and I seen him growing in stature maybe for a quarter of the way through the season, and I can start to see that he never ever let you down as well. So I think it's actually imperative that we get I'm not counting chickens yet, but if we do win the league and we get the Champions League money, then it's Neil Carter-Vickers down. And then that's us got a solid defence and a trusted defence going into the next season, and hopefully the Champions League will be a wee bit better for us.
One point that I would like to make whenever you're talking about Starfelt, and it's not even a point, it's just an observation. Me and Paddy were talking to McGinty earlier on this season about centre-back pairings, and you've always got one who's a kind of the steady guy, the rock, and you've got the other guy who's maybe showing the responsibility of being a ball-playing centre-back. And that's Starfelt for me. So if you think about like Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, you'd have one who would be the steady guy. Ferdinand would be the guy who would have to take the ball out. And that's what Starfelt, the onus is on him rather than Carter-Vickers to take the ball out. Whenever you're passing it out on defence, eventually one of them has a responsibility to take it out. And that's what Starfelt does. Before we had Ayer who would do that, and prior to that it would have been probably Virgil van Dijk who would do that. So Starfelt is our man who does that. There is the question is he upgradable as a defender? I think yes. If you look at next season and where we want to be under the vision of Postecoglou, yes, we can probably upgrade upon what we've got with Starfelt. But Starfelt on Sunday was fantastic. So That was the point of the lack of
See,
point.
see the thing is, Gav, I understand what you're saying, mate. Starfelt upgradable. Probably like most players in that team are upgradable, whether that's right or wrongly. But Starfelt could potentially be this kind of senior figure for us at centre back next season, because there's no guarantees that Cameron Carter-Vickers is going to be here, and there's no guarantees that Christopher Julian's going to come back into the fold again. So other than that, you've got Stephen Welsh and maybe Uragidi if he comes back. So for me, like, Starfelt's totally grown in to be a massive figure at the back. But hopefully we do go out and we go and splash the cash on Vickers, and hopefully actually wants to come here, because having a sound defensive unit is something that we really, really need for getting into next season. I think what we need to do is we need to upgrade on the left back position. And I'm not saying that's to replace Taylor, but we definitely need another left back of, say, the quality, maybe Juranovic. We need a proper baller at the back as well. And then it's going to be left for Taylor and Mr. X to come in and fight for that position. So we do need to upgrade in positions, Gav. Totally agree with you.
100%. Can I just actually take this moment to say a happy birthday to John Hartson? He's 47 today. Did you know that?
I do know.
I did, mate. I seen it just before we came on.
Brennan, completely disagree though with Keith's. I don't even know who you're talking about. Keith's twin brother. Paddy, what's he talking about? Keith's twin brother.
Oh, see the boy Keith Corker.
Go right now, Ted, what's going on?
No, I see the boy Keith Corker. I was on the pod with all day.
Aye.
Same Dazza. He said Dazza looks like him. It does actually. A wee bit.
You take that pass?
Hidden joke, mate. It's right off your head.
I'll need to take your word for it, if I'm being honest.
He's a good looking guy, mate. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So, man.
I want to ask.
Well, you're his twin.
Started off the podcast saying that with the pendulum swinging in Celtic's favour, you've got a lot of people who are saying the league is done. It's done and dusted. And you've got people who are a wee bit more kind of pragmatic, saying, no, it's not over until it's mathematically over. But is MD going to pick up the mantle for this one? Thoughts on the treble?
Right, Gav, I was very unconvinced, mate. I didn't even want to hear anything about a treble. But after the weekend's performance, after the total capitulation that has came for the other side of Govan this season, and after hearing the news today that their best player that's the one. and after hearing that we Alfie's out today, mate, I have got so much more confidence in a treble now, and I'm actually starting to think about a treble, because you're going to have to look at kind of their threats. Where's it going to come from? It's on midfield.
That we go.
What?
That we go. Ryan Kent, the Goth. That's the threat. Ryan Kent, the Goth. Oh, fuck's sake, Paddy, man.
Who's the Goth?
Ryan Kent.
A Goth?
Ryan Kent. He eats bats.
You never watch like Tam Selleck on Twitter? Ryan Kent, the Goth? No?
No, I don't get no that. A Goth? Who's there? Into rock music or something?
Right, okay. If you ask who's the remaining threat of Rangers, maybe Ryan Kent. Okay, but ignore the joke. That's obviously dead in the water now.
I got the joke. I got
it. Fucking hell, man. That fucking stalled that point, didn't it? Get Starfelt on the next penalty. Right, okay, so thoughts on the treble, Paddy? You're feeling more confident, yeah?
Yes, mate. Far more confident. I think the only problem that you've got, mate, is overconfidence. Which I don't think that that's something that we're going to suffer from. I think Ange's got the boys well in tow. You know, he'll be able to keep them calm and collected. As I say, I think now we just kind of need to look at it as a bonus. But again, like the semi-final, I think it's going to be almost like a cup final in that respect. It's a one-half game between us and them. And anything can happen, really. So it really is going to be down to us how we approach that. Our attitude. Do we continue the momentum of just going wave after wave of attack? The good thing as well is Kyogo is probably going to be back as well. So that brings in another massive threat. I was reading the comments with Postecoglou before Sunday. He was basically saying that Kyogo has been in training and he's been so happy to be back in training. And he says, this is Postecoglou saying this, he says every time he turned around, all he could see was Kyogo going like that. As if to say, yeah, again, I'm here.
Dazza, Paddy kind of mentioned about if we play Rangers at Hampden, which we will be doing, of course. It's going to be a bigger pitch. So this is two questions actually about Kyogo. With the bigger pitch, you think that favours Celtic or Rangers with the way that we play, and would that kind of favour Kyogo? But I do have another question, and this question I'll just, in case I forget, I'm just going to ask it right now. I've actually written it down because for me it's important. With the growing influence of Giakoumakis right now, will there be a clamour for us to shoehorn in a partnership to up front of Kyogo and Giakoumakis? I know that they're chalk and cheese, but how can you leave one out? How can you leave one on the bench? It's going to be difficult, whether it be next season, but we've seen how important both of them are. So, Dazza, again, Hampden, bigger part. Would you play Kyogo and Giakoumakis? And the other question, would you want to see a partnership with them?
The bigger park is only going to benefit us because of the pace. So we can spread them out, we can open them up a wee bit more, and then get in behind them with pace. So therefore, I think Hampden will be good for us. But I don't want to talk about a treble now. I want to think St Johnstone's our next game, and I'm just and what Paddy was saying about Kyogo, I read the comments as well. He says Ange you can't walk about Lennoxtown without bumping into Kyogo, telling him he's ready. So, and he said he assessed the games, and he goes, I know I've got a big game coming up. He says, and I thought we'd enough to handle Rangers without using them. So, can you imagine the cheer on Saturday? When Kyogo comes on with 20 minutes to go, and big Giakoumakis, I think he'll go off. So Giakoumakis hopefully will give us another few goals, hopefully, and then Kyogo comes on for the last 20 minutes, and the cheer. You know what I mean? Hopefully we're ahead, and my big pal there, first of all, Treble, don't talk about. He said that to me the other day.
By the way, I actually really agree with that. I know Frank Brennan said that as well. For me, you only talk about trebles when you've won them. I'm that kind of superstitious guy. I know, like, just settle down, keep your knickers fucking dry. But at the same time, like, we've already won our first league, the first trophy of the season. We're now on course to go and win the league. We've not won it yet. It's no fucking over. Some people really need to rein themselves in with that, in my opinion, because stranger things have happened. But in terms of the treble, we're still in it. You know what I mean? We're in it to win it. We're no just here to take part in tournaments this season. We're here to win them. And I think Ange will be saying that to them, but I think he'll be doing it in almost like a father kind of figure way. He'll be saying, this is something that you can do, but just do it the right way. Don't go out with arrogance. Don't think you're the big swinging dick until you've won it.
Ange is the best person to kind of rein people in. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. What about the other question, though, about the clamour for a two-man up-front partnership between Giakoumakis and Kyogo? Do you think that it'll be difficult to deny it? Because I will tell you, I've said this in the podcast, I've said it multiple times, I don't think Kyogo is effective as a winger. I think he's weighted, and I don't need to harken back to the first Celtic and Rangers game at Ibrox to prove that point. I just think he doesn't have that explosive pace. But together, the two up front, little and large, that old cliche, could it work? And would Ange actually change the formation to tweak it, to allow that sort of formula? Would you think, will it always be either Giakoumakis or Kyogo, one of them on the bench, one of them on the park?
Yeah, he'll no change the formation, mate. If anything, it's to bonus, if you want, a bonus. Because if you've got Giakoumakis, who's finally managed to nail down that starting berth, and he's doing really, really well, he's scoring goals, he's setting up goals, his fucking work rate is through the roof. But if you've got Kyogo watching take him back in and take that position back, then surely to God that should raise Giakoumakis his level. You know what I mean? Because he's now got serious competition, the same way that Kyogo's now got serious competition. So for us, mate, it's just a massive, massive bonus. You know what I mean? That we've got two guys who can step into that position and score his goals.
A good headache, then. Dazza, would you agree with that? A good headache rather than something that we should try.
Well, if you've got your informed players together, it doesn't matter who they are or what they are. Do you know what I mean? So as long as they produce the goods. So therefore, it's a good headache. You would rather have two players with, as we Jinky used to say, I've got fire in my belly. You would rather have the two of them rearing to go. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just I'll read it. Amy sent us a wee text message here. She goes, Ange has already done enough for us, Lo. He's came and got a squad together in 1 month and already has one trophy. We're sitting top of the league with 6 points, with a semi-final near, and he's done this all after our worst season in a long time.
Who says that?
Doesn't get a fit. Amy. She just said.
Oh, the wee brother.
So she doesn't get a football brain for me.
By the way, the Denny's here at oh God, what's his face? Mikey Richards. Did you hear his comments today about Big Ange?
Go back to Amy's comment. Amy's comment is spot on. Ange, one hell of a leader, man. One hell of a leader. What he's done, fantastic. He's galvanised everybody. He's harnessed the relationship between the club and the fans. He's brought that in, and he's given a belief to the players. So what Amy said, 100% spot on. Sorry, Paddy.
Brilliant, wee brother. Well done.
Right, Paddy, back to you.
What did I say again?
Mika Richards.
Oh, right, aye. I just got a wee, I got a wee snippet, mate. He was basically just saying that, you know, for the situation that he walked into, to have turned everything around, to be having only, I think it was only about 4 or 5 players, he says, for that team at the start of the season to what he's got now. Everything that he's done, he says it could only take a very special human being to make that happen. And I think everybody's on the same wavelength now, and that Ange is such a special human being. It's not just that he's a great football manager, he's not just that he's a great leader. He's actually a great man. You know, everything that you hear from the guy, everything that he speaks about, it all touches on a personal level and it all connects you. Everything's tugging at the old heartstrings. There's a big romanticism with Ange for the whole kind of the merging of the backgrounds, his ethnic background, Celtic background, the history. Everything ties in, mate. And this guy is such a good fit.
I want a cuddle off him.
I want something else off him, but I won't say that.
I seen Ali McCoy's getting a cuddle off him in a picture the other day, and I was so jealous of McCoy's for the first time ever.
By the way, did any see the picture of the female outside Ibrox with the Rangers training tap on? Like, getting a selfie with Big Ange. What's that all about? Crackpots.
No.
And it might the apostles after they get the Holy Spirit put on them to go out into the world and convert the disillusioned. It kind of reminded me of that.
That comment there, do I think Ange will stay for 4 years? No, I don't.
By the way, that's something that we should be prioritising. We should be going out and giving that man a 3-year contract. We've done it with Brendan Rodgers, and we should be doing it with Big Ange. We're talking about signing guys like Cameron Carter-Vickers on long-term deals. We're talking about possibly Jota. We should be doing the same with Ange. We should be tying him down whilst he's
What
his life.
does anyone know what his current contract situation is? How long?
It'll be a rolling contract again, Gav. It'll be a 1-year rolling contract, which is...
He came to the UK with his family just for 12 months on a rolling contract, right?
Aye, but it's one of the ones that rolls over kind of thing, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of mind exactly how it works out, but essentially...
Rolls over if he does.
You've got a year contract for every day, so see every single day that goes on. So say tomorrow, Ange will still have a year's contract. You know what I mean? So even if he gets sacked tomorrow or something, he's still got a year's payout to get. You know
you just pay him for a year, opposed to the Huns would have to pay you Van Bronckhorst for a year, and 2 year now.
There's one there for Frank. It's an interesting one. Frank, always a very wise man on here. And if we do beat them at Hampden in the semi-final, the ramifications for most of Slippy's Deadwood will be fierce and painful, but poor BGO must remember Sefco have no money to replace him. Well, that just ties in exactly what you said, Dazza, mate. We can actually go out and afford Big Ange some proper time here. Do you know what I mean? And we can do that with the players, because I don't think Ange will be the type of guy who next season is going to rip up the team and bring in another 10 players. I think he'll just bring in maybe 3 or 4 key players to add into the squad. But on the other side of the water, they've got so many players out of contract and want to leave. You know what I mean? So this could be the start of something special. As long as everybody that's up in the higher echelons in Celtic is willing to do that, mate, they need to speculate, to accumulate, because we've got the potential here to start next season from a positive aspect, mate.
Paddy, you know that phrase, it's a sliding doors moment?
Yes.
Right. I've never actually seen the movie, but I understand the connotations of it.
It's fucking terrible.
Right, okay, it looks like a chick flick to me, so I've only watched it.
I love it, but I love all chick flicks.
I get the connotations of it, so for whatever happens, there's a reaction, stuff like that, for a missed opportunity, that sort of thing. So Rangers missed up. I did have kind of 2 questions, but it was about us getting ahead of ourselves of Rangers' new demise. So Rangers never pulled the trigger in terms of refinancing their squad under Steven Gerrard after they won the league. They haven't done that. Basically, they went to the market. Ange went to the market. Ange had a shopping list. He knew exactly what he wanted. He got up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning and he said, I want that guy, that guy, that guy. He bought them and he fucked off back home with his purchases. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst went to the market and he didn't have a fucking clue what he wanted. He had no mandate at all. And he took the tackiest, flashiest thing at the market, and that would have been Ramsey and that guy Diallo, the £37 million Man U reject already. And they've done fuck all for them. And now we can see the effect of the purchases. We are now top of the league. We're talking about trebles. Rangers are talking about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst getting sacked. So the question I wanted to ask you was, people might get ahead of themselves right now from a Celtic point of view, Celtic fans' point of view. Rangers don't have that much money. They might have to sack Giovanni Van Bronckhorst from the public frustration at losing out to a possible Celtic treble. And obviously they're going to go out of the Europa League with them Morelos injured and them just being a shite team anyway. Braga are going to do them, I'm sure. So Rangers are going to lose more money and Celtic are going to gain more money from the Champions League. Then does that kill Rangers again? Not kill them as in like 10 years ago to another liquidation. But do you see another 5 years, potential 5 years of dominance of Celtic over Rangers? So whoever wants to pick up that one.
Only if we actually come out on the front, as I said, Gav, probably for the millennium, maybe just before that as well. Celtic's always been a reactionary club. Everything that we've done has been a reaction because of negativity, because we've lost leagues, or this and that. And any time that we've been in a position of strength, the reason that everybody has such an issue with the board is because the board don't take advantage of it. You look at Seville, you look at Brendan Rodgers' teams, blah, blah, blah. They've downgraded, they've never upgraded. Now we are in a position where it seems to be that there's a good relationship up the stair since Michael Nicholson came in, and anybody else that's working in that small transfer team, Jay Lefebvre, and as I've been told, Ange's agent is a part of that. So if everybody's on that same wavelength, mate, then we know that we can start making money now for the likes of Europe if we get into it, if we win the league. But we can't go out and do it with spending 250 grand on a guy for Aberdeen or something. So I mean, we need to go out and buy the right guys. And I think Ange is the type of guy who is got that respect up above, you know. So I absolutely, it's a good position to be in, mate. But we really need to pick up on it. We need to go ahead and drive forward. Sorry, Dazza.
Can I just read Amy's comment on this again? She just messaged me right again. She says, "Ange,
what? Bring her down and get her on."
I think
you get after fuck.
Aye. Ange and Rodgers have completely different styles of play, but they both wanted the same thing. A treble in their first season. Ange and Brendan are two guys that came into a club and changed it completely. Ange, although hopefully won't leave us in the middle of our season at such a crucial time. So,
I do think Ange will bail on us. I think it's like, you know, like once bitten, twice as shy. I get that, but that's what Rodgers done. I think Rodgers did this as much as he could with Celtic, and I think Ange is still at the beginning of it. He's still to win his first title, but
she's up there copy and pasting that or something.
Sorry, Paddy, but just to get Dazza's opinion on the last question I asked you, Dazza, do you think with Lowell out, I know that a lot of us are quite cynical about the Celtic boardroom now, and even though Peter Lowell is apparently out and you've got Nicholson in, do you think that Celtic on this occasion might push their advantage with the apparent financial collapse of Rangers?
Well, look how guilty we've been in the past. I've taken their foot off their throats when we've got them done. We've done it in many occasions. We should have done it. We should have done it. The way that we built our model for the club ever since Fergus took over is that we've built it to keep the club sustainable and we have to keep it in a position of strength. But it just seems that every time that we've got them on the ropes and we've got them done, we take our foot off. We take their foot off their throat. But no, listen, I'm hoping this time. Like you say, they've got to rebuild a full squad. They've got to get rid of a lot of people, aging players as well, and then they've got to bring them on, and they've got to hit the ground running, just like that we had all our players coming in hitting the running. So hopefully, like they say, lightning doesn't strike twice, because we done that, and as a sheer, I can't not mean it. It's like maybe none of us could have predicted. And I know I'm going off on a wee bit of a tangent here, but if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, this is where we would have been, I would have bit your hand off for it. And goes because we get after the Eddie Howe debacle, then we lost Eddie Howe, then we get Ange Postecoglou, who nobody had ever heard of. I had to Google him before. Now, because I knew he was second favourite, I had to Google him to find out who he was. And then the Sydney Tims on Twitter, they gave us a lowdown on him. Then we had to remember we never won away. We never won away for like the first 3 months. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it was October we won our first away game. So we've had to go through all that, the build up, and then to now get ourselves to the position of being 6 points ahead. 6 points ahead with 6 games to go. Effectively 7 points ahead. So if you'd have said to me this was going to be the start of the season, I'd have bit your horn off for everything that's happened so far. But it's been epic. Do you know what I mean? It's been epic. I wrote this season off at the start as a rebuild season. I says, right, it's a free hit. I didn't realise it was going to be the close.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Like, so many milestones have been achieved, so many things have been overturned. Like, for example, that game against Aberdeen, whenever Celtic beat them away, that was it on Valentine's Day when Rogic get Jota get the winner. That was like our first.
We hadn't won since Valentine's Day. That's
it. Aye, so many firsts have happened under Ange Postecoglou. I know that I'm not a big fan of this, but you know how Netflix and Amazon do those documentaries with clubs? This would have been the season for it, to actually witness it from the background. It would have been amazing to be like a fly on the wall and witness that sort of thing. But this season has been epic. It has been momentous, and it looks like it's just like a matter of time before we close it up. For the league alone, I'm not overly interested in the treble. The league alone, that's the bread and butter. That matters the most, because then it leads to the Champions League, the bounty, and it hurts Rangers financially, and it makes them all sad. I'm happy with that.
And we don't have to search for links of playing a far off European team in the middle of July. Do you know what I mean? We can actually concentrate in the start of the season being the actual start of the football season, instead of playing about 12 games before a ball's kicked.
I know. It's turned out this season I've actually had to go into Pornhub to see the Celtic highlights.
No, I will not. Right, okay. One other question I had. I said I had two questions, and we did the one about Rangers and their financial. Thanks, mate. Thank you. By the way, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. If you're still with us, go and hit that like button. You've got no idea how much it does for our wee podcast. We're fighting above our weight right now, but thank you. And for Frank Brennan, we can only kick on and be properly dominant, but two things must happen, and that is the board have to give Ange some proper money to spend, and the players concerned must want to play in the SPL. And the latter point of what you say, the players concerned want to play in the SPL, that'll be down to Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers' willingness. I heard that Cameron Carter-Vickers, whenever we might have had the option to buy him at the very, very start of the season, but we took him out on loan. I heard that the rumoured figure was 5 million, but now it might be about 7 with add-ons up to 10. But I think it's the willingness of the player. I think we will do that deal if Cameron Carter-Vickers wants to do it. But guys, I had one question to you, and it's unless the comments here kind of supersede that. But I had one question: how far off are we from being able to hang in the Champions League next season?
Sorry, mate, I never caught that there. What was the question?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know. How far off we've been competitive, basically, in the Champions League next season. See, to be honest, I'm just happy we're there now. Well, touch wood, maybe we don't do any colossal collapse, but I'm just happy we're going to be in there. I can't wait for the 3-match package to come out. I can't wait for the night of the draw to see who we've got, and then the 3-match package coming out, and then going and planning my wee nights after, you know what I mean? And God willing, being able to afford to go to one of the games away.
Hopefully so. Paddy, the question was, how far off are we from being able to compete in the Champions League next season? Dazza is saying he's happy for us just to be there. But the reality is, and it's becoming a reality now, that we're going to be there, but we don't want to get fucking embarrassed. So how far off are we from
it's a great question. If you look at our football now, you would kind of liken it to Jurgen Klopp's rock and roll sexy football at Liverpool. It's in your face, it's relentless, it's just total spit roasting stuff. But no, listen, I've already said it umpteen times to yourself, mate, and other places as well. Big Ange is experiencing European football in Europe for the first time as a manager. And even though he's 55, 56, I think he's still a guy who is still learning aspects of the European game. Like he's had to learn a few times in the Scottish League, you know, how to go and beat teams like Livingston, how they're going to set up, which is great. And it seems that he's putting everything into practice, everything that he's learning. I think what we did in Europe at the start of this season, Gav, we had so many close calls, mate, where we could have won games by going to other places like Leverkusen and Betis and taking the game to these teams. But again, we failed at the kind of the basics. So I think Ange will take everything for this season, learn the mistakes, learn how to almost be a bit pragmatic at times because you still need to go out and defend in Europe at times. And I think he'll translate that into the next season, you know, and it'll be a far more solid team. You'll have a guy with more extensive knowledge in the European game playing against European super teams. And if he keeps the kind of momentum up, keeps the ethos of the way he's got his team playing, that's great. But if he learns to cut out the wee daft bits, perfect. You'll see some great nights at Celtic Park under the lights.
But look, see if you look at that Europa campaign, right? Again, all right, we get put out with more points than the Huns went through with, right? For a start, we held a good German team and a good Spanish team, and we gave our all against them. Not I mean, it was 2 stupid away games and losing daft points at away that really cost us that one. Bodo Glimt. Nobody knew what Bodo Glimt was going to do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know how good they were going to be.
We did, didn't we, Gav? We did.
They were fucking
They were very professional, and we were rabbits in the headlight. So
very fucking blonde and tall and fucking just physical. They just fucking overran us, man.
Mm-hmm. So listen, it was going to happen. Rangers had the luck of the draw, and they've carried a lot of luck. But listen, fair fucks. You know what I mean? I wish I was that lucky in Europe. But for me, get the league in the bag, get that 3-match Champions League package bought, and then just enjoy watching world-class players coming to paradise again. And hopefully we can spirit the Martin O'Neill, Gordon Stratton years, where everybody came and got scalped. AC Milan, Man United, Barcelona. Well, I know that was Neil Lennon, but do you know what I mean?
Listen, we're well overdue some great European nights at Celtic Park.
Oh, 100%.
Massively. 100%. I think you would need to look back to, well, Champions League, obviously I'm talking about. I think you would need to look back to Brendan Rodgers' first season. For the last kind of big games that we experienced, and that was the thriller with Man City, the 3-each game. We've not seen a Champions League game at Celtic Park since. You know, we're well due that.
By the way, whenever you say, I bet you felt you were entitled as a Celtic fan to a big European night at Parkhead, I bet they said that in the 70s. I bet they said that in the 80s as well, after 1967. Just a kind of parallel that I'm being evil enough, I'm being a dick enough to throw that out on. But, yeah, Paddy or Dazza, one question. If we do get the 40 million bounty, what would you spend it on? It's a football club, not a fucking fire away to Dubai or whatever.
Boats and hose. Boats and hose.
Boats and hose. Was that Step Brothers? Step Brothers, well played.
It's like anyway, 40 million.
Upgrade on several positions. But you need to be mindful of up in the wage bracket though, because whenever you do that, then you'll be having people with clauses. Didn't Scott Brown? Sorry, I don't mean to hijack this, but didn't Scott Brown have like a wage clause where a contractual clause where he had to be the highest earner? Sorry, I'm hijacking that. What would you do with 40 million?
You're hijacking your own point. On the 40 million, I see the now because I'm on a high with Celtic now, and I think everybody to a man is playing well. I'm kind of on the now that the 40 million's money in the bank now for at the rainy day, because the team that we've got now is coming on leaps and bounds. We'll still get player Kyogo to come back. I'm trying to think like who the first team is. So Greg Taylor, we probably need a left back for Greg Taylor. Hopefully we can keep Starfelt and Carter Vickers. Then we'll get Juranovic and Tony Ralston there as a backup. Midfield, I'm looking at Callum McGregor. He speaks for himself. Jota, hopefully we can keep Jota. Mida, Hatate, O'Reilly. So I think we've got a good squad to know. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got a right good squad to know, so we don't need to go daft. But Celtic being Celtic and Celtic fans being Celtic fans, if we don't start bringing in marquee signings in the summer, people are just going to go mental. So if they're going to be a marquee signing, they need to be better than what we've got now, and not just a name. Do you know what I mean? Because you would argue that Ramsey was their marquee signing, and he's not. He was just a big name, but he's no done anything of note. You know what I mean? Apart from Kildart Cotton, what's he done?
Something that Nick Cotton could never do. I know, mate. I'm showing my age here with that one. Anthony McGinty says that he would spend 40 million to keep Caramel Coated Belly at the club. Nah, I'm only kidding.
I thought you were being serious.
No, he says cement, Cameron Carter Vickers and Jota, get in a left back, 2 to 5 million, left wing back up and tie down the right winger. I think whatever we do, regardless, even if by some fucking cataclysmic event happens and we don't win the league, we still need to upgrade. But do you know what? See for what is the new, mate. I'm absolutely overjoyed and over the moon, totally delighted with what we've got. The players that's been developed by Ange, the players that he's brought in, you know, your Hatatis, Kyogos, Giacomakis. I think everybody's just culminated together and they've brought out a real kind of family orientated team. Like everybody's played for each other. It's as if they're fighting side by side with their brothers, you know. And you can see how much it means to a player. Like, say, when Juranovic scores, everybody's on. They're embracing them, and they're just all happy to be here. Joe Hart's been like a fucking
colossal,
a broken toy that's been picked up and put back together and put back into play by Big Ange. You know what I mean? Can I
ask you one thing about the personnel that we've got? It's about the physicality of the team. So obviously, like, if we go to the Champions League, even for domestic and the Champions League, we're not the most physical team that we have been in the past. Neither are we the most technically proficient we have been in the past. We're a bit of both. We can handle ourselves physically and technically. We're not bad. And obviously, under the guidance of Ange, things are looking well. Things are looking up. But would you like to see, with the recruitment, a couple of more physical players coming in, as long as they know how to pass the ball and know how to control the ball? Do you sometimes get the impression that Celtic can be kind of pushed off the ball depending on the opponents that we come up against? It'll come into more effect in Europe next season.
Gav,
domestically, will be okay.
Gav, at the start of the season, mate, 100%. But see, even guys like Starfelt, who we were all quite quick to jump on his back every now and again, excuse me, and say that the guy was pretty under strength. You see guys like that do, and they're starting to really come out their shell. And even he's bossing guys. You know, people's bouncing off it. Carol Starfelt, the same way Hattati. People's bouncing off Hattati. Maeda just chases everything, and he just runs through everybody. You know, see, even though we've not got a team of 6'5" monsters, we've got a team full of fighters. Every single one of them, they've got hearts of lions, mate. And I don't think we're being overimposed by many players now at all.
And my question is, do you think that will stand the test? Do you think it will pass the test whenever we come up against an opposition that might nullify us?
I think we're too nice at times, Paddy. Just sort of to be on the contrary what you said there, I think we're too nice. And sometimes we don't leave the fit in, we don't leave the things on them. But you think about it, right? I watched Ralston and Giacomakis. I watched Ralston go through, was it Kent? And saying, like, I'm here now, you've got me to deal with for the rest of the game. And again, Kent's like, I can't have been damaging near him. I mean, he's just come on like a somebody said there, a Duracell, wasn't he? Now with full energy, and I went through, cemented them. Looks like Lundstrom done to us, but the Hunts are a nasty team anyway. But so we definitely do need some nastiness. So a few hard bastards in the team, just to, like the Martin O'Neill days with Bobo Baldy, Yalby. Do you know what I mean? The strong spine through the middle, Lennon, Lambert, Hartson, Sutton. Do you know what I mean? All hard bastards right through the middle. Then I think if we can get them in, just to protect us, to help it. Even if you bring a hard bastard on to protect a lead, you know what I mean? If you've got a lead up, bring somebody on that's going to be in faces. It's going to put the opposition off, because your Neymars and all that. Right?
Paddy, you still there? You're in on it, cool.
No, I'm still here with it. Still here.
No,
I think what Dazza is internet's fucked, but mate, I totally agree with him. I would like that kind of physical insurance. A Wanyama and such, not the current Wanyama, a new Wanyama. I think it'd be good to have that competitiveness. I want more competitiveness. We need to upgrade in every single area, get more competitiveness in the defence, in the midfield, and attack.
I tell you what, I'll try and find this comment. I think it was Uncle Nobby Steamboat. It's a very good comment, actually.
What's his name? Uncle Nobby's Steam. That's a fucking name.
You never think you need an upgrade until a better player comes in.
100%.
It's a classic Wolf Tones tune, and it's all about taking drugs and all that. But I'll tell you one thing: see Uncle Nobby Steam, but I'm giving him credit for no good points. So even if he brings out a good point, I'll never admit it being a good point. Just so that's where we're on that one.
Is that your Amy?
Don't know. It might be, because that's her name.
Well, that might be a good indicator, mate. But if it's not, Amy Lee's, I think by the way, she must be watching us on YouTube, so no swearing for a couple of minutes, boys.
No, she was. She has been. She's been texting me all through the thing.
All right. God. Right, okay. I think if we sign Cameron Carter-Vickers, he is very physical. Giakoumakis, Ralston and CCV are very tough and strong. Also, Rio Hatate with a good shout. Well said, B. Barra.
I will say 10.
And another good point there as well. We'll get to see what Gucci can do.
Apparently Gucci have signed a deal with fucking who's that prick?
Oh, Grealish.
Grealish has signed a 7-figure deal with Gucci for wearing their clothes. But let's not do that. Let's go back to Gucci. By the way, the one thing about Gucci, we signed up 4 Japanese players. Gucci is the one guy who's not featured that much. And everybody's not so much writing him off. But what I would say is Ange didn't sign him for fuck all. There's method behind the madness. And we've already got Cam McGregor playing in the number 6. We've already got Beaton, who's actually from Gavin in the number 6. And you've got McCarthy, you've got Sorrow. I don't think Gucci got signed just to kind of get a Japanese quota. I think there's method behind the madness. We're going to find out why we signed Gucci. We don't know it now, but we'll find out in due time. For Frank Brennan, like it or not, Gavin, you must remember that Ange and his Ange ball are completely not interested in physical type players or defensive midfielders, and so we will always be lacking physically in midfield. To an extent, aye. However, you cannot have a midfield stacked with like 5'5" midfielders. Not that we have that, but we're doing well. We're holding our own. I think, just my own personal opinion, I've just seen the kind of the benefits of having a physically imperious, player. Standing in that position like a Wanyama, and I think that we're not kind of top heavy in midfield in terms of physicality. If you look at it, like with McGregor and O'Reilly and Rogic are tall players, but they don't really put themselves about that much. But I'm not saying that you're wrong. You could be right. You don't sign a player just because they're fucking tall. Like that guy at Lundstrom, for example. You don't buy him because he's tall. You only buy him if he fits the formula, if he's good enough. So in Ange, I trust. I'm not going to knock any more signings for Ange. I trust in the process, man. Right, Paddy.
Was it you?
I heard a wee bit, Gav, yesterday that the lovely name Gav, Gavin Strachan is going to be getting offered a new contract, I think. So we had a comment earlier on. Pardon me, I can't actually remember who it was for, but it was basically saying that as good as Postecoglou has been this season, surely credit has to go to John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan also for the part that they're playing in the background. What do you think about that?
Let me go for a B. Is that okay?
I've just done that. So
on you go, Dazza.
Well, obviously, right, because I see blaming backroom staff and then there's no backroom staff. So John Kennedy, Gavin Strachan, Stephen McManus. Now they were all forced on Ange, and there was a lot of criticism about Ange not being able to bring his backroom staff in at the time. But if you've noticed, every time Ange has won the manager of the month award, he's always brought his backroom staff in the photo with him, and he's always gave them the credit. So maybe Ange is fun. He goes, wait a minute here. I don't need to bring in backroom staff when we've got people at the core of the club that know what they're talking about. So, and I used to love the stick that Gavin Strachan used to get for his laptop or iPad. You're thinking, well, this is modern time. This is how you do things now. This is how you bring up stuff. You know what I mean? You show people what they're doing. You know what I mean? So, just because he's not bringing out a chalkboard or something like that. You know what I mean?
I can know, mate. It was quite a petty thing to pull up, wasn't it? Quite a petty thing to bring up the old laptop, but at the same time, I think Kennedy got a lot of stick for last season because he was obviously the assistant manager to Neil Lennon. We all know how that went, and then he took over the reins for the last 10 games and was pretty lacklustre himself, mate. But overall, in his entire tenure as a coach, assistant manager, he's done really, really well, you know. But these guys don't get the respect because really the manager is the guy at the forefront. So the same as the manager carries it flat when the team is doing push, the manager gets all the credit, the majority of it, you know. Mm-hmm. But I think we do need to step back and look at the collective this whole season. Like the players are doing the players are doing their bit in the pitch, the manager's doing it, and the coaching staff are clearly doing it because everything. Excuse me. If we trust Ange, then everything that he's saying is all positive. Everything that he's saying about Strachan, Kennedy, he's picked them all up, you know. And something that Ange, I think he's got a kind of track record for, is actually no going into a club and bringing in a load of staff. He actually comes in and works with the staff that's there and kind of moulds them into this tight unit, you know. And that's what he's done. And by the way, even more credit to Ange for doing that, you know.
It takes a brave man to do that, definitely. And I think the attention that was put on Strachan and Kennedy at the very, very start of the season, because in a lot of people's minds they were tainted by the previous season. I wasn't in that camp. Whenever people said that John Kennedy was going to be a terrible football manager and a bad coach, I was not in that camp. I tried to stick up for John Kennedy, and Strachan was a bit of an unknown, you know. The whole thing of him having a laptop at the games, you know, that's a kind of new thing. That's a new generation. It's kind of a modernisation. And obviously, it wasn't going to really be palatable for football fans.
Dinosaurs.
Football fans of a certain generation, even us. But I think that this season, with the progression that Celtic have made with the progress after winning a cup and now being very, very close to winning the league, the focus is completely off Kennedy and Strachan, and it shows kind of how guilty we are, not us personally, but us as in like football fans, how fickle people are. You know,
just a question there for Frank. Sorry, boys, but unless somebody can bring me real tangible evidence that what's happened this season is also all down to Kennedy and Strachan too, then I just simply don't believe it for a second.
McGinty will probably retort to that next time he's on because he was right against Kennedy.
Well, there's a comment that had literally just come in before yours, Frank, and I think it kind of ties in with what you're saying there. Red Scotland, how you doing, buddy? Kennedy keeps getting slated for our defence being terrible. Our defence is the best in the league. Like,
Oh, by the way, Red Scotland, you said that you were doing yoga a month or so ago. How's that yoga going? I remember that. But Paddy, back to the point about
yoga or yoga.
Yoga.
Shut up.
No, namaste and all that stuff.
I don't know. It was like yoga, like just sitting doing this fucking. I've never done it.
Downward dog. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, like meditate for that. Physical meditating. No, I'm not taking the piss. I'm not taking the piss. Red Scotland, you said that you were doing yoga a couple of months ago. How's it going though? Let us know. Let us know.
But to get back onto Frank's point, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's always going to be, excuse me, there's always going to be doubt, and like I think if the going's good, then as much as we think how good Ange is, I really don't think he can do every single thing himself. Do you know what I mean? So surely to God, if everything's going good, then the entire staff has got to be a part of that, and they've got to be given credit for it. Like as one of you said earlier on, Ange's won 3 Manager of the Month awards in a row, and every single time he's brought out a different kind of bunch of backroom team. You know what I mean? So clearly that's an indicator that that's like a thank you, as much as it is a recognition to his entire backroom staff and every single bit of staff that's on the pitch. And the club, sorry.
He's humble as fuck, man. I think he's got great characters about him, man. Whenever he eventually leaves Parkhead, it's going to be a sad day, because I think he's really, everybody's taken to him. Right?
I concur.
Oh, right. Right, Paddy, what were you saying?
I think that's us for the night. That's booking curse.
Before we wrap it up, right, for the night, St Johnstone is our next game, so therefore that's our biggest game of the season. As it stands, the St Johnstone game is the biggest game of the season. We can't go out there. We can't go out there now thinking it's won. We need to go out there.
Just about, mate. Just about.
We need to go out there and think that we are 6 points behind. I know it's an old cliche. You can tell I've been coaching now, can't you? Because that's what I say. That's what I say to the Lassies team. I'm like, we're still 2-0 down. Anyway, so we need to go out there and we need to be very, very, very professional. Because St Johnstone are on a good wee run now themselves, and they're fighting to avoid relegation. I don't know, and this is just off the cuff. I think they've drew with Hibs, and they've beat Motherwell, and they've beat somebody else recently. So the last 3 games, they've won 2 and drew 1, I'm sure. So when they come to Celtic Park, complacency. Now we thought that when the Huns dropped points, and then we played Dundee United later that day, we thought that was going to be a canter, and we underestimated Dundee United, and it took in a bad last-minute goal. Then we played Dundee, and again to turn the screw, and it took. We won it 3-2. We lost 2 goals, and we surrendered the lead twice. So St Johnstone are going to come brimming of confidence. So we need to go out there and we need to be professional. We need to be professional, and we need to get this game. We need to get the game done early, and done fast.
Quick fire goals, man. Fucking, you need to go for it.
Well, St Johnstone are sitting 11th in the league, second last. You know, they're still in a dogfight for relegation. So we, as Dazza, you've just said, mate, we can't underestimate them. We can't just turn up thinking that we're going to pump them 5, 6, 7-0. They could potentially be like a cat cornered. You know what I mean? Their claws could come out. They could potentially fucking hit us in the counter or something. Frustrate us, like no scoring it. Yeah. Listen, as you say, mate, I can't disagree with you. Every game. Oh, there's somebody that just literally said what I was about to say there. Uncle Robbie Steamboat, treat every game like a cup final.
Right, I do agree with him this time.
That's a bit time. But I listen. St George have got the potential to mix it up. I think I read today that they've got two injuries to their first team. So you never know. I don't know, mate. I wasn't that interested. Sorry. Listen, they won 2 cups last season. Obviously, Callum Davidson's got a bit about him as a manager. The team have struggled this season probably because of the kind of expectations it was put on. But as I say, they're in a relegation dogfight. They need to win, and as long as they don't win against us. But
it's worth recognising that St John's are a far more dangerous animal than the Rangers, because they won 2 trophies in one season, which the Rangers have never done. What have we got here for Red Scotland, guys? When you hit 1,000 subscribers, I wonder if you'll monetize your channel. If you do, fair enough, I guess. Everyone's entitled to make a buck, but please don't lose the thing you've got going. I want you hit out. I want you hit out with the song, man.
If I'm due any remuneration, then it can go to the Celtic Hero Foundation. There you go.
To the Red Scotland, have you got any idea how many fans that Paddy's got on his OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, aye. That's where I make my money. No, listen, everyone is. We all appreciate the types of comments for guys like yourself, Red, and everybody else who gives us a bit of support on that. But listen, we just come on, shoot the shit, and regardless of how many followers and views or whatever we get, we couldn't care less in the respect that we're changing for nobody. So,
right. So back to the game against St Johnstone. What do you think? Who do we change, if anybody, or do we play the same start?
Continuity, mate. Continuity.
Yeah, continuity. Unless anyone is like fuck.
One of the provisionals.
Bastard, you man.
I hope Maida's still good, because he ran himself into the ground, and the same as Giacomakis. But the good thing is we're going to have Kyogo on the bench now. And one other thing, Dazza, why do you think that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Why is Julian not been on the bench for the past few games?
I don't know. Maybe Ange's got enough on the bench, or maybe he sees it with Carter Vickers, and maybe he's just no match fit. Maybe he's just no. No, I mean, he's not played in over a year. So, and this is the crunch time of the season. This isn't the midway of the season where you can afford to slip. Do you know what I mean? So, no, it's the crunch time of the season. So, therefore, Kyogo's coming on, who's already made an impact. So he'll get back on. Julian's not really featured all this season, apart from that game against Raith Rovers, and he came on to a good reception. So maybe now, I think, and I'm hoping, because I like the big man, I'm hoping it's right this season off for pure recovery. You know what I mean? He's no needed now unless something catastrophic happens. Right this season off, and then give him a full pre-season under his belt, and then he'll come in challenging. But right now he's no part of the winning formula, which is GOATs.
Well, there's a comment for the second most famous Miller. Change nothing, keep the same team, and hammer these last games. I agree with that. I would totally do that. What I would do would be to start reintroducing Kyogo, maybe with like the last 20 minutes, and just have him. Knows a backup, but guys like Maeda are going to tail off. They're absolutely running themselves into the ground. You know, big Giacomakis and all. God forbid anything happens to him. But the good thing is we've still got a Kyogo. We've got an Abada who can come on. We've even got a Jimmy Forrest when he comes back. Mikey Johnston, by the way, Mikey Johnson could probably come on and do a wee bit of damage doing again.
No. I've got one question, one final question, and just like a kind of fun question. Start off with Dazza. Dazza, what's been the one moment of the season where most kind of joyous moment? Whenever the chips were down, like what we were talking about, Ange has kind of overcame so many hurdles this season. one kind of most joyous moment that you've witnessed under Celtic, and I'll just kind of start off to kind of give an example.
No, if you do it, no, because you're going to steal my point if you do that. And you ask the question. Tony Ralston scoring against Ross County, and my big fat face was on the telly during as the goal went in, because I was right behind the goals, and that for me was a moment for me that it was a turning screw. When we came out of that game, we all 3 points in the last minute. Then that was a game for me that set us up for the rest of it. But you got to steal my point?
No, but the podcast that we did right after that, I was fucking hammered. I was like downing.
We've all had one moments, mate.
I had about 3 bottles of wine for that podcast alone. It was like me, Paddy, and Dale. I would say that one of my most joyous moments was beating Aberdeen away in Pittodrie, and it was that one where we hadn't done it since Valentine's Day, and we'd kind of overcome a hoodoo. I want to say the Livy game more recently, but for me, the way at Pittodrie, that was a big one. Jota getting the winning goal, and Jota's family was in the Celtic at the end. That was beautiful. Paddy?
Aberdeen, mate, Aberdeen. Up until that moment, I kind of still had, admittedly, some reservations about Postecoglou and how the team was progressing, because we started off playing some really kind of fast-flowing, silky football, but the results just weren't coming. And at one point, I think we were sixth in the league. We hadn't won an away game since God knows when.
25th of September. We'd played 6, won 3, lost 3.
So at that point, mate, you're just like, God, is this going to be one of these moments again? And I think there possibly could have been a big potential that people would have been talking about Postecoglou getting sacked if we hadn't won that game at Aberdeen. No, that I'm saying that it should have been said, but I think a lot of people would have been kind of coming right to that point. But that one at Aberdeen was fucking colossal, and it was just such a, as you say, Gav, it's just such a raw emotion, just a general fucking glee that we actually managed to get that win late on. It's a horrible place to go to Pittodrie, always a hard game. And that was the start of Celtic's resilience. That was the start of us turning into guys who showed fight and guile, and like the whole "we don't stop." That was it. I mean, and it goes when it's going against you. That's when you find out who a team is, when the fucking going gets tough.
Can you imagine the experience of Jota's parents, the Portuguese parents, and that fucking away for Celtic at Pittodrie? Like the adventure that they would have like been through, travelling up to Aberdeen, watching that game, going down, equalising, winning. Fucking hell, man. And what have we got for Frank Brennan? By the way, Frank, thank you for all your fucking comments so far this season. For me, Jota's winner against Aberdeen to make it 2-1 with only about 8 minutes left. And I don't forget how dire it was up until that winner. And if Jota had not made that run into the box to score, by the way, it was Rogic who pinned himself against the defence, and he was the one who held it up, and he fired in Jota to make it that winning goal. Unbelievable.
There was your potential sliding doors moment there, Gav. If Jota hadn't made that run into the box, what would have happened this season if we hadn't won that game? Could it have been a potential fucking one that collapsed onto our arse? You know what I mean? Instead of us regrouping, rebuilding, rebranding our entire first team and going away and potentially winning the league. You know what I mean? It's fucking what a turnaround.
See to summarise the last 1 hour and 38 minutes, 10, 11, 12 seconds, how good is fucking Ange Postecoglou? He's done it for his... He's done it. I think he's done it.
By the way, I tell you what. See if we get a victory. See if we win the treble. I'll be getting big Ange Postecoglou tattooed my tits.
You promise that to the viewer?
Promise it, mate. Aye. I never said it'd be a permanent tattoo, but I'll get it done.
Do you want me to come up to Carlton with an inky?
Absolutely brilliant.
What we'll do anyway is, if we win the league, going to say we'll do something for charity. We'll do something for charity. Okay, I promise that. Okay, we'll do something for charity.
By the way. Sorry, Gav, on you go, mate. I'm just going to get Dale's charity up while we're talking about that. There's still a few guys watching. So sorry, mate. On you go. I'll just chime in a wee second.
Just kind of thinking about it, like charity-wise, everybody loves a charity. It's always good. But Dale, who's like a fan of our podcast, who was on Sunday after the game with me, Paddy, and Dale, of course. Dale is from the Celtic Supporters Podcast, and he is doing a massive charity event. I think he's going to be doing it in about August or September. He's going to be travelling from Wishaw, Motherwell area to Carlisle. And he's going to be doing it in 24 hours. And he's going to be doing it on his own 2 feet. It's going to be running, jogging, panting, crawling. One way or another, he's going to be going from Wishaw to Carlisle. And he's going to try and do it in 24 hours. And that's for charity. And he's doing it for the food banks. He's going to do it for the food banks of Wishaw, Motherwell, and the kind of surrounding areas.
There he is, typed in. Dale, I'm trying to find the link to your Just Giving page, mate. I can't find it. Going to post it in the comments and I'll stick it up.
Dale, you're going to have to cover up the fags, man. How are you going to do it without they fucking get on the nicotine patches, man? How are you going to do it?
Right, I get that Just Giving up and I'll donate to that as well.
Right, so basically, I don't know. Sorry, Gav, I couldn't really hear and type at the same time there. Just in case you never mentioned it, mate. So it's going to be the charities in the aid of food banks. So basically, Dale's saying what many of us are all thinking. 2022. There's people having to use food banks because of Tory austerity, poverty, hardships. People, are even not just people that's kind of on the state. It's people that's having to go out and work 2-3 jobs. They've got families who still can't afford to put food on the table. So Dale's doing a massive, brilliant task by going for a run for Wishaw to England. So what a guy! We'll get that comment. I'll get the link put up as soon as he gives me it. And if we don't, we'll get it up in the next episode, which will be Saturday, Gav, post-match, mate.
Another kind of hardship that he's putting himself through is whenever he does the run from like Wishaw to Carlisle, he's going to be doing it to the entire theme, the entire soundtrack of simply. What's that? Simply. What's that?
What?
Simply Fred. What's that band that he likes?
I thought you were going to say he's going to be running it Simply the Best.
No. Like Fred. What's that? Like Deeply Dippy.
Simply Red.
Oh, the ball can't be movies, man.
Right said Fred.
Right said Fred. Aye, that's the one. He's doing the entire challenge. He's doing the entire challenge to Wishaw, to the Carlisle, to the theme tune, the soundtrack of Right Said Fred. And that
Simply said about the way you walk. Right, I know.
I was going to gain £2, but after hearing he was going to do it to Right Said Fred, I'm going to do 20 quid. Has to be.
Spare with me, guys. He's just sent me the link and I'm going to post up.
He's a good guy. He's a good human being. That's it.
Right.
Oh, my love.
Is that you just Googled the lyrics?
I can't actually believe we're finished this off with Gav sitting fucking singing. What was it? Simply Right said. What was it? Who?
Can I pass a message on to Amy? Tell her she's grounded because she agreed with you two and no me, and she's supposed to stick up for her da.
No, my love. Sorry.
So 64 people still watching. There's the link for Dale's Just Giving page. So if you can possibly donate anything, jump back on, write it down, take a screenshot, whatever you can, jump onto the Just Giving page, and if you can, any little helps. He's trying to raise £500 for the local food banks in the Wishaw and Motherwell area. Hopefully we can get to that figure. Hopefully we can absolutely smash that, because we all know that Dale's going to smash smash his target with his run. So if he can, please give us a wee donation on that. That'd be great.
Aye, Dale, man. Best wishes, man. Yeah, best wishes.
I endorse that statement.
Right, Gav, are you going to sing us out with a rendition of?
No,
Okay.
Gav.
No.
I'm too sexy for my Celtic shirt.
No, McGinty has already scripted it, and he says, "Well, thank you for watching the Jungle Jazz podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. I don't even like social media, so if you endorse my attitude, then don't do social media. Don't even watch our podcast because it's all shit. You'll ruin your mentality. You're a happier person if you don't watch YouTube. Nothing like that. Keep away from football. Keep away from social media. Go out into the open doors and just do some gardening. That's the best thing for you."
What if you're not a posh cunt like you? It's got a garden.
No, do somebody else's garden until you get arrested.
Right.
Just some random person opening the curtains there, a fucking crackpot, fucking doing the lawn.
Right. I've got work here in the morning, news. Come on.
Well, that's your fault for agreeing to come on, boy.
I know.
We don't do another anymore, don't we, no, Gav?
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my podcast.
Right, that's it.
Right, and on that lovely note, it's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. We've been at Jungle Gyms. Please, if you can, give a wee donation to the link below, and we shall see you on Saturday after the game. Hopefully, another 3 points in the bag. Hopefully, another finger wrapped on the handle of the Cinch Premiership.
The only explanation I can give, it's the form we have found since Sanchez been around.
That's what puts at the top of the right, Trips. Catches.
What?